Following India's decisive military action, codenamed Operation Sindoor, on May 7, 2025, Pakistan was quick to announce its own retaliatory measures. These Indian strikes were a direct response to the horrific Pahalgam terror attack of April 22, 2025, which claimed the lives of 26 people, many of them tourists visiting Jammu and Kashmir. India had targeted 9 distinct terror infrastructure locations within Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and Pakistan's Punjab province. In the ensuing 4-day military confrontation, Pakistan's public relations machinery went into overdrive, disseminating information intended to project an image of strength and successful counterattacks against key Indian military installations. The core of Pakistan's narrative revolved around purported successful airstrikes on 2 high-value Indian Air Force bases. Islamabad's official channels claimed that their forces had executed precise hits on the Adampur Air Base in Punjab and the Bhuj Air Base in Gujarat. These claims were not just vague assertions, they were accompanied by specific details designed to lend them credibility. For Adampur, the claim was of a direct hit that severely damaged a frontline Sukhoi 30 Mki fighter jet. For Bhuj, the claim was even more audacious, the destruction of a critical S-400 air defense radar system, a cornerstone of India's strategic defense network. These assertions immediately captured headlines, both domestically in Pakistan and internationally. The claims were significant because they suggested that Pakistan possessed the capability to penetrate deep into Indian airspace and inflict substantial damage on sensitive, well-defended military assets. If true, this would represent a major tactical victory for Pakistan and a serious blow to India's military prestige and operational readiness. The narrative was crafted to reassure a domestic audience, deter further Indian action, and project an image of military parity on the world stage. The claims, therefore, were as much a part of psychological warfare as they were about military posturing. The spread of this information was rapid, amplified by social media and official state-backed news outlets. The narrative was simple and powerful. India had struck, but Pakistan had struck back harder and more effectively. This created an atmosphere of intense speculation and uncertainty, as is common in the fog of war. The claims were designed to shape the perception of the conflict's outcome, suggesting a stalemate or even a Pakistani advantage, regardless of the actual events on the ground. This information offensive became a critical front in the brief but intense conflict, setting the stage for a forensic examination of the evidence provided. In the modern era of conflict, the battlefield extends far beyond physical territory into the digital realm of information and intelligence. Claims of military success are no longer taken at face value, especially when objective evidence can be gathered and analyzed independently. This is where open-source intelligence, or OSINT, plays a crucial role. Analysts around the world can now access high-resolution satellite imagery from commercial providers, allowing them to verify or debunk official statements made by governments. In the case of Pakistan's claims regarding Operation Sindoor, this independent verification became the key to uncovering the truth behind the official narrative. To support its bold claims, Pakistan's information wing released what it presented as post-strike satellite images of the Adampur and Bhuj air bases. These images were circulated with annotations pointing to supposed impact craters and damaged military hardware. The intention was to provide visual proof of their successful retaliatory strikes. However, this strategy carried a significant risk. Satellite images contain a wealth of data, including metadata and contextual clues, that can be meticulously examined by trained experts. The very evidence presented to bolster a claim can, upon closer inspection, become the tool that unravels it entirely. A prominent figure in this verification process was Damien Symon, a respected OSINT imagery analyst known for his detailed work examining military sites and conflict zones. Symon turned his attention to the images released by Pakistan, subjecting them to a rigorous analytical process. He did not just look at the areas marked as damaged, he cross-referenced the images with archived satellite data from before the conflict period. This comparative analysis is fundamental to distinguishing actual battle damage from pre-existing features, routine maintenance activities, or deliberate visual misrepresentation. His work represents the power of independent, data-driven analysis in cutting through state-sponsored propaganda. Symon's initial findings, shared publicly, began to systematically dismantle Pakistan's claims. He pointed out critical inconsistencies, particularly with the timelines of the images. His analysis suggested that the satellite photos being presented as evidence of recent battle damage were, in fact, captured weeks or even months before the conflict had even begun. This revelation shifted the focus from assessing the extent of the damage to questioning the very integrity of the evidence itself. It became clear that a careful, methodical review of the satellite data was necessary to establish a factual account of what truly transpired at the Indian air bases. At the Adampur Air Base, Pakistan's claim centered on the supposed destruction of a Sukhoi 30 MKI aircraft. The image they circulated showed what appeared to be damage near a hangar. However, Damien Symon's detailed analysis revealed a completely different story. By comparing the Pakistani-provided image with historical satellite data, he established that the photograph was not taken after the May 2025 conflict. Instead, the image dated back to March 2025, a full 2 months before Operation Sindoor was launched. The aircraft in question was not even a Sukhoi 30 MKI. It was clearly identifiable as a MiG-29 undergoing routine engine maintenance. The supposed battle damage or impact crater highlighted by Pakistani sources was also easily explained through expert analysis. The dark patch on the ground, presented as evidence of a direct hit, was located near an engine test pad. Symon identified this marking as nothing more than routine soot and scorching, a common and expected feature at any facility where jet engines are tested and maintained. There were no signs of shrapnel, explosive blast patterns, or structural damage to the nearby infrastructure that would be consistent with a missile or bomb strike. The claim was, in essence, fabricated using an old image of normal base operations. A similar story of misrepresentation unfolded with the claims regarding the Bhuj Air Base in Gujarat. Here, Pakistan alleged a far more significant achievement: the destruction of a sophisticated S-400 air defense radar system. The image they used to prove this strike showed dark marks in a vehicle servicing yard, which were presented as signs of destruction. Once again, Symon's forensic examination of the satellite imagery archives exposed the deception. The image used by Pakistan was captured in February 2025, more than 3 months before the military confrontation. The timeline alone was enough to invalidate the claim completely. Further investigation into the specifics of the Bhuj image provided a mundane explanation for the so-called marks of destruction. The dark patches on the tarmac were not scorch marks from an explosion, but were simply oil stains. Such stains are entirely commonplace in any vehicle service and parking area, especially one used for maintaining heavy military equipment. There was no damaged S-400 radar, no debris field, and no evidence whatsoever of a successful airstrike. Pakistan had taken a picture of a parking lot with oil stains and attempted to pass it off as evidence of a major strategic victory against India's air defense capabilities. The meticulous, evidence-based analysis by independent OSINT experts like Damien Symon provided a clear and undeniable conclusion. Pakistan's claims of having successfully struck Indian air bases at Adampur and Bhuj during the May 2025 confrontation were baseless. The entire narrative was constructed upon a foundation of deception, using old satellite images that depicted routine, non-conflict-related activities. This episode serves as a powerful case study in the importance of fact-checking and the critical role that independent, technology-driven analysis plays in modern warfare. Propaganda can shape initial perceptions, but it cannot withstand the scrutiny of verifiable evidence. The actual outcome of the brief conflict, which concluded with a ceasefire understanding on May 10, 2025, was starkly different from the one portrayed by Pakistan. India's Operation Sindoor successfully achieved its objectives of striking terror infrastructure in retaliation for the Pahalgam attack. In contrast, Pakistan's retaliatory efforts appeared to be a failure, forcing its military establishment to resort to fabricating evidence in an attempt to save face and project strength. The debunking of these claims not only corrected the historical record, but also highlighted a significant propaganda defeat for Pakistan on the international stage. This incident underscores a broader lesson about the nature of information in the 21st century. The widespread availability of commercial satellite imagery and the expertise of the global OSINT community have created a new layer of accountability for nations. Governments can no longer make battlefield claims with impunity, as there is a high probability that those claims will be independently and publicly verified or falsified. This transparency can act as a deterrent against the spread of disinformation and provides the public, journalists, and policymakers with tools to ascertain a more accurate picture of reality, even through the fog of war. Ultimately, the story of Operation Sindoor and Pakistan's subsequent claims is a testament to the enduring value of truth. While propaganda and disinformation may offer short-term tactical advantages, they inevitably crumble under the weight of empirical evidence. The satellite images, which Pakistan hoped would prove its military prowess, instead became the very evidence that exposed its deception. The real outcome was not determined by press releases or social media posts, but by the verifiable facts on the ground and in the sky, confirming that India's military assets remained unharmed by any retaliatory Pakistani strikes.